Hey guys, I wanted to talk about something today. I want to talk about toxic friends and how sometimes the ones closest to us are the ones that do us the most harm, and sometimes we don't even realize it, or we don't allow ourselves to realize it. My message today is friends and how to let go of toxic friends. I spent 5 hours today processing an incident that was just so cruel, hateful, mean, just poor behavior, disrespectful, gaslighting, avoidance, deflection, no accountability, yelling, screaming, swearing, unable to contain their own emotions, and thought it was okay to use me as an emotional dumping grounds, as a verbal punching bag. Why? For what? Friends are supposed to be there for each other. Friends are supposed to have each other's back. Friends are supposed to help each other, hold each other accountable, hold ourselves accountable. Friends are supposed to come together and grow together up. Friends aren't supposed to belittle, manipulate, treat like a piece of shit because they can't handle their own emotions and or mood. I don't give a fuck if somebody's moody. Your emotions are your own to deal with. And no amount of manipulation, gaslighting, projection, covert disrespect, and outright rudeness and disrespect, threatening, made to feel unsafe. These things are not okay. I planned a trip with a friend. We came out to Colorado together to go to a tiny home show. We made the plans. We each had responsibilities. I was responsible for the round trip tickets for both of us on a holiday weekend. She was responsible for the 3 days for this hotel room as well as the rental. Anything above and beyond that is independent, right? Or if we need to take an Uber, from when after we drop off the rental, we split the Uber, right? That makes sense. This was my vacation too. Now, I'd never been to Colorado before, and I was totally fine with her showing me around because she's been here before. But what I wasn't okay with was having to follow her around and do everything that she wanted to do, when she wanted to do it, how she wanted to do it, or else. Like, not or else anything physical, but or else the berating would happen, the bitching, the complaining, the non-stop torture, mentally, emotionally, and verbally. Why? Why? Are people so unhappy with their own life, with themselves, that they need to berate someone else to feel better? Project someone else because you're in a shit mood? Handle your own emotions. You're a fucking adult. This trip mostly sucked. There were some really good moments, don't get me wrong, and I saw a friend out here as well, and I had a good time. But this fucking trip sucked. I was made to feel like the biggest piece of shit, and I don't appreciate it. The plans that we made changed. Why? Because when her plans changed, when she changed her mind, I was expected to change my plans. And if I didn't, I heard about it. Now, I was a people pleaser my whole life, so I didn't realize that that's what I was doing, that I was people pleasing, that I was, I didn't understand it until today, until it happened, and I woke up from something as it was happening. She invited herself to hang out with my friend, which is fine, but then tried to convince my friend that she should, maybe be gay. My friend isn't gay and she doesn't want to be. And it's so inappropriate, unacceptable to do that to her. She didn't want it. She was open-minded and heard what you had to say, but you pushed too much. It's not cool. Now, today was the last straw. We got in, when we flew in, day one was out of the way, done, because she took so many fucking edibles that she was rocked for so many hours we couldn't even get out of the airport for 3 hours. And then I drove. which is fine. Things happen. No big deal, right? But you know what? If that were me, she would have berated me, belittled me, called me names, told me I was a piece of shit, just really inappropriate stuff and unacceptable stuff. Boundaries are important in friendship. You don't treat people this way. Now, plans kept changing because she kept changing it. I was made to feel like if I didn't do everything that she wanted to do, when she wanted to do it, how she wanted to do it, I was in for it and I'd had it. It was only one rental and it was in her name. She reneged on a deal. We went to a place today that we had visited the day before. She wanted to come back today because she didn't feel that I saw her enough. But she didn't care to ask me how I felt about that. I had no time to myself other than today, and the only reason I had that time to myself today is because as I was leaving, I was video recording a 10-minute video, YouTube video, right? It took 15 minutes. She berated me for it. Made me, said that we had to go right now, right now, right now. She didn't know until she looked like basically jump and how high type thing, right? Well, if we had to go that bad, I said, okay, well, I'm down here, which is a 1-minute drive from where she was. She laughed at me and told me, I'm not going nowhere. You got to come up. It made me anxious. I felt anxious. So I packed up really quick. I ran up and the amphitheater, like the walkway, right? All the way up. I was all the way down and around. Halfway up, she calls me. I don't want to answer the phone. I don't want to stop running, but I don't want to not answer the phone because either way, I'm going to hear about it. I answer the phone out of breath. She's laughing at me, cackling at me, and saying, oh, yeah, those stairs are tough, huh, independent woman? Get into the car. She starts yelling, screaming, swearing at me, telling me that she paid for the whole entire trip, that I'm an ungrateful bitch. She did all these things for me. I didn't ask for shit, actually. I was grateful and appreciative that she took the time to show me these things, but everything was on her time. And when she wanted to do something, that was it. Fuck you, Lisa. I'm doing this, right? It was like that. Bullshit. She drove erratically, then pulled over and told me to get the F out of the car, was going to leave me stranded right there, and to take a fucking Uber. I was ruining her day. She had all these plans when she didn't, because she told us the night before at dinner her plans weren't until about noontime. We're talking 10 o'clock at this point, and she wasn't we were only 45 minutes away from where I was supposed to be. And then she would have left, then she still would have had an hour and something before it was like 12 o'clock. So she wouldn't have even had to leave. Anyway, she belittled, berated. When I called out the gaslighting, the projection, the deflection, she laughed at me maniacally, right? We get back to this hotel room. She reneges on the deal. She tells me I'm on my own and abandons me, checks out of the hotel, and then also cancels the remainder of the trip, right, that she was supposed to pay for. So I ended up paying for the overnight of this hotel so that, I could stay here. She took off with the rental. So now, and belittled and berated me. Oh, well, have fun trying to find a blah, 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 all these things. We do not subscribe, guys, to toxic, to negative. She's not always this way. And when she does talk me up to people, right? And she's not always this way. And and she definitely doesn't talk like this to me in front of people. She talks me up to people and treats me very differently. But I don't give a fuck. That 10 and 20% of disrespect, disloyalty, threatening to ruin my reputation, bringing up things from my past that I've already overcome just to make yourself feel better because you're talking down on me. I don't give a fuck. You don't do that to people, and I'm not going to tolerate it. The disrespect is stopping here and now. I know her MO. So usually when she fights with people, she blocks them all on social media so she can run her mouth. Run it. I don't care. Because those who know me and my true character, and those who know you and your true character, it's not, it is how it's going to be. But we say no to friends that are toxic. And maybe they're not always toxic, but we don't need it. We don't want it. We have enough of our own problems. We don't need someone else piling their shit on us. Here's the kicker. Her ex-girlfriend abandoned her on a trip, so she knows how that feels. And she did the same thing to me. Isn't that weird? Hurt people, apparently. And the message that I have is say no to toxic. Fuck that and fuck them. Friends don't do that to each other. That's what I gotta say.